What is up, everybody? Can you guys hear me? Awesome. What's up, Danny? What's up, El Chico? All right, so this is my first time using StreamYard, so I'm going to try something a little bit different here. If you guys could do me a huge favor real quick, because it's on this right now. If I switch over to share screens, which I'm going to do here in a second, just give me thumbs up if you can see the screen while I'm still talking, okay? So now I'm talking, now I'm going through whatever, blah, 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 blah. Can you guys see the screens while I was talking there? Were you guys able to see the screen while I was talking? AEOA, I get my first yes. Can see the screen, but not you. That's fine. You can see me now, though, right? Okay. I think we're good. You know what? This is probably the best way for me to do it real quick. Let me go on to YouTube. Make sure that I don't look like a complete idiot here. Oh, come on. Okay. If I switch to this, give me 1 second, guys, while I don't know if anybody else is joining or not. If I switch to this, give me 1 second, guys, while I don't know if anybody else is joining or not. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, perfect. Okay. We're good. All right. So I wanted to get into a couple of different things tonight. Let me know if you guys like live streams like this. I can certainly try to do more of them. Wow, I think we dipped down to like 20. It was like 22 cents a couple of minutes ago here, though. But yeah, I mean, there is no easy way about this whatsoever with what's going on with price. I mean, I personally chose to hold. That was probably the wrong decision for me. I just don't trade XRP. And the one thing that I did want to bring up, though, with XRP very much so is that, and Darren and I were talking about this a little bit today, and it's not a good thing that I'm emotionally vested into XRP, because if this would have happened with any other digital asset whatsoever, I would have immediately sold and either tried to buy back lower or, have done whatever. And I didn't do that. That's fine. But I've never done that with XRP. I've just held XRP and I've tried to dollar cost average to the best of my capabilities with whatever I am willing to put in and 100% lose as well. I mean, because I understand that I'm investing into digital assets. I understand that we have regulatory uncertainty. And I certainly understand that there are risks involved inherently in this market when we do not have clarity. Now, that all being said, we are very much so at very critical levels with XRP. I'll share this with you real quick while I'm still on here. This is looking at the daily chart. You can draw this bottom trend line in a couple of different ways here, but this essentially goes, we're going back to like 2014. I could drag it up to the bottom of the wick here and do whatever, but then I get into the bodies of the candles from 2017. But we really haven't broken down below this level. This is, a monthly candle. We haven't broken down on the monthly, and closed a candle, period, below this level. And I brought this up in a previous video. There's some of the things that I'm certainly looking at because it is concerning that we're at this level. However, I have no idea what would happen if we broke below this. I can't make up things saying like I would know. I'm not going to sit here and title my stream, XRP to the moon or XRP waiting for the burst. I do know that I believe that XRP certainly has utility. We've seen it through MoneyGram. We've seen it through the ODL relationships. We've seen it through these other institutions and what they've been utilizing XRP for. I also believe that probably years ago, and this is probably even before I got into XRP, Ripple was probably very much so a security. But you can say that about a lot of these, and this is really the main point here. Whatever's going to happen in this case is certainly going to have ramifications for many more digital assets and many more digital asset companies, not just Ripple. So I'm curious to see what, where this shakes out. I'll take some questions here in a couple of seconds, but first and foremost, I just wanted to get into that. I mean, we haven't experienced levels like this, especially with such a sharp drop right now. I certainly am in the position right now, and I did not buy into XRP during those pumps whatsoever. I kept money on the sidelines. I've also diversified to an extent, and I've tried to preach that to you guys as much as I possibly can, that diversification is important in this space. I can't imagine how I would feel right now if I had all my eggs in one basket. And I know how much it sucks to be in the position we're in with XRP right now, because XRP is very much so my main position in all of crypto. I've seen too much with XRP to believe that it's going to go to nothing. And I believe that even where it's at right now, even where it was at a month ago, or 2 weeks ago at 60 cents or whatever, a week ago, 2 days ago at 50 cents, that, in my opinion, is certainly undervalued as well, because I believe in the potential of XRP and everything that Ripple has done as far as these network effects. We have seen this being in the XRP community. Those did not affect price. And that, I think, is a huge catalyst for that securities case, regardless of what the SEC put in that document, because the SEC, whatever they put in that document, is certainly going to be loaded verbiage from their end. And whatever Ripple puts in their document is certainly going to be loaded verbiage from Ripple's end. There is going to be some sort of a middle ground that's going to be found throughout this investigation here. That I think there will be definitely some things that are a little bit eye-opening. But this is something that's also needed in the digital asset space. We haven't had something like this ever occur. We had the Kick lawsuit. I think Kevin Cage, I just saw him post, I forget what it was, TNT or whatever, they just settled. The only other thing, there was EOS, and I think that they just considered that the ICO portion was as being a security, and they didn't even rule on EOS now, and then Bitcoin and Ethereum being labeled not securities. That's all fine and well. But like I said before, this is something that certainly will have a cascade effect on the entire ecosystem of cryptocurrency. And will definitely dictate on how a lot of these firms. What really pisses me off here about this whole thing is that they're trying to kill innovation to a certain extent. And a lot of the innovation, is going to be moving from west to east. It's moving over into these countries that are very much so more friendly, as far as, I'm taking a sip of beer here because I'm off for the next 11 days, but moving towards these countries that are more friendly, that have already labeled certain digital assets, like the UK. They've got a 3-tiered thing right now. They have either a utility asset, an exchange asset, or a security asset, and then they also tie in hybrid type assets into that as well. So I don't know. What are some of your guys' thoughts here? I want to hear what you guys say a little. And yeah, Annalise, I think that this, I can't wait for all this to be finished. I agree with you 100%. I've seen various things from various people on this. I've seen that usually when the SEC gets involved with something like this, it goes pretty quick. But we've seen Charles Hoskinson's post also about, this taking quite a long time. So I have no idea. I certainly know we could see what's going on with price. Actually, I'm curious. Hold on. Let me share this with you guys real quick. This is my first time using this platform, by the way. And actually, it's not that bad. All right. So, oh, God. There's a daily chart, but I'm pretty sure it dropped down to like way lower. Yeah, we were like down to like what, 17, 18 cents? 21 cents is what I saw it at. Yeah. And now we're fighting again. We're right now at like 26.7 cents. And that's what I was talking about for those of you that just kind of joined here. And then I'm going to get into some of this news as well here. I mean, this is the bottom trend line for XRP. This is all the way back to 2015, right? I think this was like, or no, this is September 2014. We touched base. Actually, we broke below it, but didn't close below it on the monthly a couple of times. We touched base a couple of times before this recent bull run that we've had. And, you know, we are where we are right now. We are very much so fighting that right now as well. How do I? Annalise's comment is still up on the screen, I think. I don't think we're done yet either. Block News, I agree with you. I certainly think that we have a little bit of battling to go here. But people tend to forget, you know, okay, so there's giant ramifications from my understanding. Obviously, I've seen people post, well, what's the negative thing if XRP is labeled a security? Because essentially you would own shares of Ripple, right? Well, here's the problem. If you look at the way that the SEC worded the document, they inherently want the Ripple to stop all activity with XRP, number one, which would essentially kill XRP as well as Ripple, which is weird because it is like kind of this double-edged sword, right? They're saying that Ripple is basically selling a security, right? But what the SEC's enforcements are going to also do, I don't know. I don't want to get into that. I don't even want to get into that at all. But it's going to definitely stymie the use case because you've got to have broker-dealer licenses and all this other stuff to be able to trade in securities, and the cross-border payments use case that Ripple has with XRP is obviously, and you know, the most efficient portion of XRP is obviously going to be killed if that gets shut down in the US. But they're 95% of the XRP transactions, like for ODL, from my understanding at least, or at least customers that are using it, are actually outside of the United States. So it's jumping full pennies right now. I know. We are the pioneers of regulation in the space. I certainly hope so. I did want to share this with you guys, though, because this was just very interesting to me. So XRP price, whatever. Most of us have seen this. So Jay Clayton planned to step down at the very end of the year. It's very interesting to me that the parting shot across the bow before he leaves the SEC, and we could see his statement right here where he's leaving. His parting shot across the bow, because today, it's not the 30th that's his last day or the 31st or whatever. Today is his last day at the SEC. And today they issued custody-focused guidance for brokers of digital asset securities, essentially granting like this 5-year window that looks to be very much so tied in with exchanges that may hold these digital assets, which may or may not be deemed securities. And yesterday we had the announcement come across from the SEC that they were suing Ripple for Ripple being a security, or XRP being a security. I don't know. It's just the timing is crazy. I don't believe that this is all a show, but it's certainly interesting that this is all this is the last parting gift of Jay Clayton, and his wording here is just so funny to me, saying that he's such an innovator and all this stuff. Yeah, well, he's basically taking a dump down the United States' throat right now as far as our ability to compete in the Internet of Value, which we all know from being in this space, even if you aren't an XRP supporter, every single one of us knows that this space is certainly the future. As far as finance is concerned, not even just finance, across the board, you've got so much innovation going on with blockchain and digital assets. And I certainly, we had Bitcoin, and Bitcoin served its purpose, in my opinion. We have Ethereum, et cetera, that has opened up for smart contracts and changing the way that businesses are going to operate. We have something like XRP, which is essentially capable of changing the way that financial flows have moved cross borders for 50 years. And you're going to literally take the largest dump in the world down that innovation's mouth, and essentially just leave it up for big gov and these other nations. And other nations are going to completely usurp the U.S. from a technological standpoint, which is crazy to me. No, the market or the lawsuit is certainly judged, and that's a good point. I have seen people post this today as well. Wait, isn't the lawsuit more about Brad and also Chris Larson and their alleged market scam and not about XRP? No, but there's certainly very eye-opening things when you read it about the way that they sold, some of the internal emails that they had going back and forth, some of the things that they proposed to exchanges, which certainly proposed XRP from a value-based standpoint. That's what I said. I'm not going to sit here and just say that this is nothing, but I'm also going to sit here and say that I certainly don't believe that XRP, the asset right now, is a security, but I'm not a lawyer and it's not my decision to make. But this is very much so about XRP as well, because any ramifications that happen, who is the biggest ecosystem developer for XRP right now, opening up these rails for the Internet of Value, connecting these organizations together through ILP or whatever? Certainly Ripple, right? But also, there's going to be ramifications for XRP as well. And I believe that, from what I saw, that it's certainly about Chris. It's about Brad. It's almost like a bad breakup letter from high school. But it's also about XRP being labeled a security or not a security. So I'm curious to see, where this goes. Yeah, Brad's letter was comforting, but I think we're going to see a firing across, like, literally it's like two ships, sailing and both firing cannonballs, right? It's all going to get shaken out at the end. We're going to see, I think, many more interesting things. If you've been paying attention to what Charles Hoskinson has stated recently, because I would trust that dude's insight a little bit more than myself because he's just smarter. We're going to see many more eye-opening things because what they're accusing Brad and Chris of may not just stop with the SEC. That is not to say that I'm not a fan of Brad Garlinghouse. I think that he's an amazing spokesperson for Ripple. I think that he is an amazing spokesperson for the Internet of Value, for blockchain, for digital assets across the board. And I think that he truly does believe what he is doing is certainly for the betterment, and them not settling is for the betterment of the digital asset ecosystem as a whole. I just don't know how it's going to play out because that's not me. I'm not the one that makes that decision, period. Titanic flute. El Chico says, Titanic flute song playing in my head. Do you mean the dude, do you mean the ugly My Heart Will Go On song? I saw the video with like the drunk dude in the grocery store trying to buy the last case of beer, just continuously falling. I don't know. This is just crazy. And it's crazy timing too, right? It's crazy that this is happening like 2 days before Christmas. I don't know. Do you guys have any questions? Let me see on here. We did see like that yesterday or last night. Trump basically said that he was going to agree to the $2,000 stimulus in the United States. Then the Democrats came back and said, well, yeah, then do it, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not getting political at all. I'm just trying to keep you guys in the loop for the stimulus package. I haven't seen anything definitive. We do know that there was a dual-sided agreement with the $600 package. It falls under certain thresholds. As an individual, $75K. As a head of household, I think it was $125K. As a married or a couple, $150K. And then I believe dependents would fall under the $600 for each dependent as well. So this is par for 2020, certainly. Wow. Is that for real? See the truth. I've seen that like other countries are like just way different than what the United States has been doing. Canada is giving $2,000 a month to its citizens until the pandemic is over. America can learn something. That's nuts. That's a lot. That even something like that though, honestly, $2,000 a month, I don't think any of us would not take it. But it's also like one of those things where do you really trust? Like we know what's going on. They're like trying to kill the middle class, and they're trying to essentially they're trying to kill or accelerate the devaluation of the dollar, like fiat across the board. That's certainly going to happen. We talk about that all the time. But, you know, it's like one of those things where like, yeah, you're certainly going to take it. But like, I would get that. I would try to do something with that as soon as possible, invest it into either do something like with my house or like vest it into like precious metals or even digital assets, you know? Yeah, I know. Creature from Jekyll Island. Let me read up through these comments here. Maybe I missed something. Can we blame China? Oh, did you guys see this today? Okay, so Roberto, I don't know if you guys saw this today. I'll pull this up real quick. This is Trump vetoes key defense bill, calling it a gift to China. December 23rd, 2020. President Trump on Wednesday vetoed the 740.5B U.S. defense policy bill after Congress refused to include language that would abolish liability protections for technology companies, including Facebook Incorporated and Twitter. He called the bill a gift to China and Russia. So Trump vetoed this bill essentially, but wouldn't you necessarily? Isn't that kind of and I, you know, regardless of what your political beliefs are, I think it's a little bit ironic that he wants to to completely transparent. I'm a little bit more conservative. So, you know, take that as you will. I could care less what somebody's political beliefs are. I try to find middle ground regardless. But I do find it ironic that he would veto a bill because it was a quote unquote gift to China. But essentially, you know, do you really think that Jay Clayton from the SEC was like the one pulling the strings behind this lawsuit? It's just interesting to me. The timing is so interesting to me. I'm curious to see how this all shakes out with Ripple because, you know, Ripple is a United States-based company. And, you know, essentially you've got Bitcoin, which is the hash rate is pretty much China. You've got Ethereum, that's a lot of China too. And I actually hold Ethereum. I believe in Ethereum. They've taken forever to scale, but Ethereum is so massive that I can't see them failing at this point. But, you know, we said this about Ripple, the company. We said this about XRP. I don't think that XRP is going to fail whatsoever, but anything can happen in this space. But Ripple was essentially the only US-based, like the third largest digital asset, probably the biggest digital asset company. And XRP, the third largest digital asset, you know, these are US-based innovations, and they're essentially pulling them or making it seem like they're going to get ripped from the United States. So Ripple's 85% of its customers are outside the United States. That should be enough to carry on. No, I mean price appreciation. I think that what's going on right now is 100% a crazy market reaction. But certainly it's concerning because who's to say that some of these other nations that tie in with the United States directly aren't going to potentially follow suit? I'm not going to say that's going to happen, certainly, but I would say that it's obviously a possibility. There's so many possibilities. We do know that the UK has already given regulatory clarity. They basically invented their own regulations for digital assets. I went over it before. You've got utility, you've got exchange, you've got security, and then they have hybrid tokens. XRP falls under a utility / exchange hybrid token. But I don't know. And the use case with XRP between like the US and these main corridors to me wasn't that crazy anyways, because that wasn't the game plan, or at least right now, for on-demand liquidity. They've even talked about that themselves, that's not maybe in the end game, but that's not the plan right now anyways. So I'm just so sick of like seeing like we see all this like crazy stuff about like I've seen people literally say that XRP is going to be the digital asset of a whole nation, which is like, if you believe that, great. But to me, just my personal opinion, and I may not be right, that's like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I don't know. We all, I would love that, James, for sure, dude. Conspiracy, governments won't allow people to buy XRP anymore. That XRP price set $500. We all buy yachts. End of story. That's a great story. I I hope that story comes to fruition. Certainly. Am I going to sit here and say that story is 100% going to happen? I can't do that because I don't believe that there's going to be a price set, but I don't know. I said at the beginning of this podcast, like I didn't sell XRP. I will be completely transparent with you guys. On 2 nights ago, okay? When Brad put that announcement out, I was sitting at my computer. I went on to I have like Coinbase, Binance, a couple of other accounts, and then the majority of my stuff is offline. What I had available liquid for XRP on Coinbase, the worst exchange ever, I immediately sold, and I came up into my bedroom because my wife was watching a movie, and I was sitting up here for 15 minutes, and then I was like, I have to get up and go do something. And she's like, I'm going to bed. I'm like, I'll be right back. And then I immediately rebought the XRP. As stupid as that is, for me, I obviously could have made more money, but I don't mess around with XRP. Like I did it for the first time in like years, completely transparent. And then I immediately bought it back. and what I could have doubled my XRP essentially. So I don't think the SEC can set a price. No, they certainly can't set a price. Jay Clayton better be holding the flute. I was getting my tinfoil hat on. Did I miss anything? I don't know. No, Whitey, I don't think you missed much except for we are just in the very, very beginning of this. I certainly think that the price drop today is a rash reaction, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it go lower either. If you're not aware, we're sitting on these long-term trend lines right now. This goes all the way back to 2014. If you look at I'm sure we closed a weekly. We might not even have closed a weekly candle below these. I mean, I know we've never closed a monthly candle all the way back to 2014. So you got 6 years of data there where we have not closed a monthly candle below this bottom trend line here. Daily, I'm sure if I went to the daily, it certainly may have. Weekly, I don't even think. Or yeah, you know what? I think weekly we did. Hold on. No, actually. No. Rode right along it there. So that's it. Like that's going to be concerning to me if we break below that, at least a little bit concerning. So it's going under 10 cents. Dude, you might be 100% right. Doubled my bag since the dip. Weird timing that they set taxes on Spark. Then Jay, last minute sues Ripple, next day steps down. All during Brian Brooks saying regulation is in 6 to 8 weeks. I've seen posts about that too. I certainly agree with you, dude, that it is extremely, extremely weird timing. That's how you do it. Extremely weird timing that Jay Clayton sends this last parting shot right before he leaves. And he was supposed to leave at the end of the year. And then they put out this today. If you haven't seen this, for those of you just joining, SEC issues custody-focused guidance for brokers of digital asset securities. Seeks comment from industry stakeholders, which from what my initial read basically says there's like this 5-year leniency time for these broker-dealer arrangements that are dealing with securities and digital assets. So his last two acts are like, one, against Ripple, and number two, they issue that. So, and then he issues this parting statement or whatever. But I forget what you said last there, something about, hold on, shoot. Justin, what did you say after that? All during Brian Brooks saying regulation in 6 to 8 weeks. I don't know. I mean, this is where I kind of have a little bit of an issue with that because I've seen certain people say that's going to clear all this up. I don't think that you can just get rid of an SEC lawsuit that easily. Those of you that may have more of a background that aren't just speculating like I am and like probably many of us are, may be able to enlighten us a little bit more on that. But I would certainly think that unless, I don't know, if something's written into law, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to shake out. I mean, I don't know if the regulatory clarity that the OCC gives, because you've got multiple regulatory bodies in the United States, right? You've got FinCEN, you've got the Treasury, you've got the OCC, you've got the SEC. You need like a united actual stance on these digital assets. And I would imagine if there's an ongoing suit that it kind of goes through to the end game. I don't know. Who else is in here? So I'm trying to figure out who else is in here. Okay. For the crown. Okay, help me understand this. XRP price dumped due to SEC lawsuit. Why the heck is the whole market tanking? Why would XLM tank along with XRP? XLM and XRP have historically moved together regardless. That is probably why. Is the whole market really tanking, though? I mean, I don't think the whole market's tanking. Bitcoin's at $23,000, 297 cents. The whole market's not tanking. You might have some alts tanking or correcting, I should say. But you've got a lot of market cap coming out of XRP, down 50% today, and you've got 12 billion in XRP or whatever it is right now. It was much higher than that earlier. Hold on. $5% for Ethereum, that's not dumping. XRP dumped. Litecoin didn't. That's a 4% correction. Bitcoin Cash dumped. Chainlink's down 16%. I don't know. Maybe these people, maybe these tokens with these quote-unquote companies are dumping a little bit harder than these quote-unquote digital assets that have already been deemed non-securities and are commodities, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't know. I certainly think that we are not out of the bull market yet. Not for XRP right now, but that's one of the reasons, honest to God, like not trying to shill crap coins on you guys, but there's certainly assets that are like just coming about that are probably undervalued, that have relationships with a lot of the ones that have already pumped to the extremes, like, you know, Chainlink and Quant. I hold both Chainlink and Quant, by the way. I think Quant probably has room to grow, but Quant very much so has a corporate structure as well, from my understanding at least, and Chainlink does as well. I think Chainlink actually sells on market as well. But there's assets that are tied in with these. You know, you've got like, I think Polkadot, like the Polkadot ecosystem is just going to be very big in my opinion. And you've got all, like, when you start going into like some of like the newer digital assets that are out there that are like back pages that are tied in and partnered with things like Polkadot, Kusama or Kusame or whatever, and all these other initiatives, they're just starting, you know, and innovation doesn't stop. Regardless of what the SEC does, innovation doesn't stop. That's one thing that I want, like, definitely want to make clear to you guys. Certainly, it really sucks the position that Ripple is in right now. It really sucks, kind of. I can't imagine having everything in XRP, and most of my stuff is in XRP, but I have diversified. That being said, we are still extremely early in this space, and there is plenty of opportunity, regardless of what's happening right now. God, if XRP, like, I was waiting for below 30 cents, and we hit 21 cents, like, maybe that was touching on the base. I don't know. Maybe this is like literally a completely manipulated thing. But certainly this news has shaken quite a bit of new people from XRP, which is, I don't know. I mean, I believe that XRP has utility. We've seen companies talk about XRP. We've seen the IMF talk about XRP utility. We've seen the Bank for International Settlements or Bank for International Settlement talk legitimately about XRP leapfrogging slow and expensive legacy systems. So there is inherent utility there at this point. I don't think that they're going to label XRP as a security. I'm personally not selling. I told you guys earlier, like the night that Brad announced that, to be completely transparent, I sold like, probably not a lot, but to some of you, I sold on an exchange and then came up into bed with my wife. And like for 10 minutes we were talking, and then I was like, I have to go do something. And I went back and rebought like an idiot and could have doubled my bag. So I'm not perfect. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect. I'm a human being. I will say this has taught me a very valuable lesson. I certainly am emotionally vested into XRP and the XRP community. And that's a lesson that I've learned, though, from this. And regardless of how this shakes out, I won't be emotionally invested into some of these things. Because let me put it to you this way, because just to be real with you guys, like, if this happened with any other digital asset, I would have sold in a heartbeat. I would have been on an exchange. I would have pulled up every cold storage wallet, anything that I had, and transferred it and sold it. That's what I would have done if this was any other asset besides XRP. But this is XRP. So I'm not, I didn't. I did it for a second with like a tiny fraction. And I was like, my wife was like, what are you going to do? She's like, I'm going to bed. I'm like, I got to go down. I got to go check. I think I said I had to go check that the doors were locked downstairs. And I rebought the XRP that I sold like at a little bit of a loss, which I'm so stupid. The smart money is not dumping. Certainly. The clueless retailers are shake them up and shake them out. All right, I'm going to read through some of these comments here real quick. Zilliqa. I'll give you a freebie real quick, G-Man, okay? I do hold Zilliqa, by the way. I'll share this. I don't know. I wonder what this is doing real quick. This is the type of stuff that I've been at least trying to find. And I posted this. This I posted on Patreon. I've done it on a couple of videos. And there's been other ones too. December 6th at 6 cents, right? We're at 21 cents. It hit like 24 today. I wonder what this is. So this is one of like the original developers of Zilliqa. And this just got released December 20th. Okay. And then they also have MIT, all this stuff. I don't trade out of any long-term bags that I have when I get into low market cap coins. But there are certainly giving this stuff away. Like Keeper 3 was another one. Of course, it's down 15% today. But I posted about it November, I think it was the 16th at $141. So those are things that I'm trying to look for. Now, granted, when you do stuff like that, it's super risky. I don't trade out of anything when I do anything like that. I certainly don't trade out of assets that I would consider long-term bags because there's just no way to potentially, like, you're going to lose. You're going to lose a certain amount if you do your due diligence and you luck out, like that ALBT, that Alliance block one. I put a little bit more into than what I would usually put into something else because I saw like they have the Prometheus network. They're partnered with Chainlink. They're partnered with Quant. They're partnered with Ocean, all this other stuff. So I put a little bit more in than what I would normally do. But like some of these ones that are low caps, like even newer low caps, if you're looking, if you're researching, if you're trying to find this stuff, they just have an idea. And it's like, that's great to invest into an idea. And I've done it a couple of times, but I'm not going to throw the gambit at something like that because that's extreme. Anything that's low cap is extremely risky, even if they have partners, like crazy partners out the wazoo. But something that's just an idea, like who would have bet on, like, in my opinion, like Yearn Finance and the DeFi thing? I wouldn't have done it. Whoever did that is a freaking genius because, that essentially is like an idea. And they sparked like hundreds upon hundreds of other tokens doing the exact same thing, but trying to do it maybe a little bit better. First mover always has an advantage too. Like Yearn Finance has an advantage because they're a first mover in this space. The trick really is to try to find so with oracles, from my understanding, you've got like these middlemen that have to talk to be able to interoperate with these networks. And like API 3 was another one that I've been looking into lately and finally just said, screw it, I'm just going to buy a little bit because it hadn't corrected. I think it's probably down today. But essentially removes the middleman whenever you're trying to interoperate with these oracles. So there's ways to do this, and there's ways to still find these assets that could potentially be huge. The graph, I didn't touch that with a 50-foot pole yet. That is not to say that is. I mean, we see that project; it's massive, right? But I also certainly. Am I sharing my screen? Okay, this is why I didn't buy the graph, okay? Because it went from, I don't know what it was at. December 16th, it certainly wasn't at $0, but it did like 400% in 4 days. I wouldn't touch that with a 1,000-foot pole while it's pumping like that. Now we see it at, we probably went down 30% in a day there, went up a little bit. Now we went down another 15, 18, 20%, right? This is something that I would start potentially looking at because what you see with these things here, especially when they pump like that, they may come down to try to confirm something. Like even, okay, if you think that I'm a liar and that I'm just not looking into something because it's going to be the future, it's the best thing ever. And I'm not saying that the graph's a bad project. I certainly think that it probably is a good project, just because of the team that we know that's behind it, right? But you even look at like Chainlink, right? Like, look at this, okay? There was crazy pumps in here that certainly, like, I don't even know what this was right here. I could zoom in on it, but I mean, it went from 24 cents up to $1.40 or whatever it went to. So like 5x, right? And then what did it do? It came all the way back down and touched back to confirm that. So I'm certainly not going to be getting into something that pumps 400% in 4 days. But lucky guy, I certainly do. I've been planning on looking into the graph for sure, 100%. All right, I got to find this comment up here. Let me put somebody else's comment. What are your thoughts on Apollo FinTech and GSX ICO? Apollo, I personally have not bought Apollo. I've been asked to look into it before. Hold on. Still holding my XRP never sold SLA coin. And GSX I'll have to look into as well. I am not as familiar with those. ADA, ADA for sure. And Erica, sorry, I can look into that stuff though. I've seen Apollo all over the place. I don't know. I know it pumped like massively, but then I don't know. What is GSX? Hold on. Gold secured currency is the first stablecoin that increases in asset value. Oh, this is like through Apollo, huh? Okay. I will have to look more, Erica. Honest to God, like I'm not involved in the Apollo ecosystem like whatsoever. I can certainly look into that. If I find anything interesting, I'll try to do another stream. And if you catch it, that'd be awesome. So ADA for sure. Reserve rights. People have been asking me to continuously look into reserve rights like multiple times. I need to do that. Use your name here. Where is he at? Still holding my XRP, never sold. Thoughts on, I think he's asking about SIA. I don't hold SIA right now, but SIA is in a list of a few that I have been meaning to buy into or at least look into. Am I still sharing the screen here? No. Okay, so SIA is in a list of a few, and these are like a few that I've been looking at. Like, okay, so one, this is, I don't know. One is Energy Web. SIA would be one. Bluezell would be another one. Those are all in lists of things that I'm certainly very interested in, but just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Synthetics. Is my audio gone? Can you guys hear me? Okay, the audio is good. Zenfin, I hold Zenfin. I like Zenfin. Reserve rights is PayPal coin. All right, so you guys have convinced me because even on Patreon, I've been asked to look into reserve rights. I did start looking into reserve rights. Okay, so some people can hear me, some people can't. Annalise. Okay. Did start looking into reserve rights, and like it was really interesting to me. But I know they have like this. What is it? There's a stable coin on reserve rights too, right? But it's not the reserve rights token or coin. I'll look into reserve rights. You guys have convinced me to look into reserve rights, and I'll post it to Patreon, but I'll also share what I find to YouTube as well, which I don't normally do if I find stuff on reserve rights. Hang on a second here. Because I've seen there's just been so many people asking me about it. I will certainly do that for you guys. Fetch AI is one of those other ones that people have recommended. You have to understand there's so many out there. Like, okay, so I did a deep dive on Singularity, which what I would consider Singularity high risk, but I would also consider it. I haven't put money into Singularity, but I did a deep dive into it, and There were connections with like the UN, UNESCO, which is like the education program through the UN, I think. That Sophia the robot was actually like the first Saudi citizen that is like through some of the larger people through Singularity. So, you know, it's Fetch AI is certainly one of those things that I need to look into a little bit more. I'm going to pronounce your name wrong, certainly, but look into Rose. Any thoughts? I will say that Darren, Fame 21 More, told me to look into Rose. I looked into it briefly, not a lot. Hashgraph. Hashgraph is one of those things that, okay. Jordan Freed from Hashgraph actually posted about the Ripple stuff, kind of talking shit about Ripple a little bit. But also did state that they've been working with the SEC since the outset of Hedera. The only problem that honestly, Damon, like I hold Hashgraph. I believe in Hashgraph. I think it's a great, it's like third gen, right? It's not blockchain, it's Hashgraph. Their partners are awesome. The speed is awesome. The transparency is awesome. Their token economics are like not the greatest. I'll just say that. And I hope to interview them again. I did an interview with Christian Hasker, who's their chief marketing officer in the past. I'm planning on doing it, hopefully, an interview with Jordan. Maybe ask him more questions about the thought process behind the tokenomics of Hashgraph. But it's a long-term hold for me. It's something that I certainly hope is going to be fine when these regulations end up hitting or whatever cascade effects happen. But you guys all know that I like Hashgraph. I mean, I post anything that I find whenever I find it. I'm not a huge fan of the tokenomics. I've heard that there's a reason behind it. So Kin XHV, I just don't know enough about them. Theta, I wish I would have gotten into Theta beforehand. Hodl Strong. I got you guys for 5 more minutes here, okay? I'm going to do until like 6:30, all right? And then I'm going to wish you guys a Merry Christmas here. HBAR is the truth. Yeah, Energy Web's another one. Energy Web has a lot of tie-ins. Cathartic Canuck, like a lot of tie-ins. I still haven't pulled the trigger on Energy Web. I need to, like, badly. Not financial advice whatsoever, but they're tied into a lot of different initiatives. Steve Mnuchin just released a statement about certain stablecoins and payments. I will look into that, certainly. Fetch AI we talked about. Oh, God. Somebody not watch or watch. I've got 666 views right now, or people on the stream. Get off or get on. I think we need 2 to 7 days of price capitulation in XRP to find the bottom. Maybe. Nobody knows. Is XRP dying? I hope not, because I didn't sell. You've got to make that decision for yourself. Anonymous mouse. And that's a crappy thing to say to anybody, but I don't have anybody telling me what to do with XRP. I sold a tiny bit on 2 nights ago, and then I bought back 5 minutes later. I told my wife I had to go down and do something in the living room, and I just bought it back at a little bit of a loss. I didn't sell it all. I sold like a little bit. I presented earlier, we've got these long-term trend lines here. That is really like kind of my gauge as to what my plan might be. If we hold this as support, and continue holding, I might buy. If we break down below it, I might wait for a better opportunity to buy. But I'm not selling my XRP. I've already made that decision. I will go down with this ship. I don't care. That's not a big deal to me. I didn't invest more than I can afford to lose. I invested a lot into XRP, but I've also diversified. But I have certainly not invested more than I'm willing to lose completely. I knew what I was getting into in this space. But XRP has utility. What other digital asset has integration into, or at least trials of integration into like some of the largest powerhouse banking corporations in the world? You know, and who do you think that they're utilizing as tech providers? Like, why is the Bank of England using Accenture as a tech provider for their renewed real-time gross settlement system? Why? When they're already tied in with Interledger and they know that they're tied in with RippleNet. Like, there's things that don't make sense. So I'm going to hold through it, you know, and just go from there. All right, everybody, we're dying off on the stream at this point. Zill, I hold Zillica, Sean. So, all right. Last but not least, I certainly wanted to take the last couple of minutes here to wish all of you guys a Merry Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, if you celebrate Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. If you celebrate something else, happy something else. I hope that you guys get, this has been the worst year ever for all of us, right? I hope that you guys get a little bit of time off and time to spend with your family. If you don't have time to spend with your family, I hope that you can relax a little bit. You know, if you don't have family, you know, I just hope that you can sit back and reflect on this past year. It's been a terrible year, but I'm certainly available if you know, I try to get to as many direct messages as possible. I try to be as real as possible with you guys. I will continue to do that. I could care less. I love XRP. I love the XRP community, but it's really about just like taking advantage of this ecosystem that we're still so early in, and staying up to date. So I wanted to say Merry Christmas to you guys. Happy holidays. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a wonderful New Year's. I will certainly be posting the Patreon. If there's new news or whatever, I will certainly be posting that as well. But I love all you guys, honestly, regardless. We all come from such different backgrounds. I'm sure many of us have way different beliefs than each other, but we've found this common belief that we are obviously very early in this internet of value with digital assets, all these different things. Regardless of what happens with XRP and Ripple, I will continue to present realistic news. And again, regardless of what happens, we are still early and there's still opportunity for us to really pave our way forward in this space. And I will try to help do that in whatever way possible. I'm not an advisor by any means, but I love you guys and I try to be real. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you happen to be. And I will talk to you next time I talk to you. All right. Later, everybody.